Media.
Hi, my name is Ronnie Cruz. After almost 2 decades as a career network marketer, I realized that despite continual work on my personal and professional development, that I had hit a massive brick wall. So I took a deep and honest look at myself, top to bottom, hoping to find answers, and my search led me to one conclusion. The definitions I held of my business, of my world, of my life were the very things holding me back. If I wanted to change, if I wanted to grow beyond my current circumstances, I had to wipe the slate clean and redefine. This show is dedicated to helping you identify the belief systems, the mindsets, the very definitions that have held you back, and then help you break through those limitations to finally create the life you've been working so hard to achieve. Welcome to the Redefine Podcast.
All right, welcome back to the show. Thanks for tuning in. Today, we're going to talk about the end game, right? What is the end game for all this content that I'm continually putting out there? I got this question the other day on one of my accounts, and I thought it would be important to talk about because if you're an audience of mine, if you're listening to this podcast, or if you're watching the video version of this, if you're seeing a clip from Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or even LinkedIn, you might be wondering, well, what is the entire point of everything that I'm doing right now? So I wanted to address that, right? I wanted to address that. I think the question also partly comes from the fact that some of the metrics on some of my platforms that I'm on, it looks pretty abysmal, right? The number of views or the number of plays, the number of subscribers I have, or quote unquote followers on some of my platforms really isn't growing, and like the views seem like it's like, what's the point of doing all this in the first place? All right, so I want to really kind of let you guys know that yes, there is a purpose behind all of this. Now, number one, my main platform that's generating most of the things that I'm trying to generate is Facebook, right? So my Instagram, my YouTube, the LinkedIn, TikTok, even this podcast isn't necessarily generating as much of the traffic that's providing me, the monetization, right? The monetization, whether it's through the courses that I'm teaching, or just building my business in general, my network marketing business. So that a lot of that is being generated via Facebook, right? So understand, if you're not watching this on Facebook, or if you're not listening to this on, or seeing a clip of this on Facebook, if you're watching it on some of the other channels, then there is that target. And of course, the entire point of me continuing to put content out here is for, marketing, right? It's to continue to build my reach, expand my audience so that I can get my message out there and then turn that into profit, right? Like, that's the whole point of marketing: growing my audience, giving my audience value so that I can continue to invite them to further value with the eventuality of a financial exchange for even more value. Right, so it's really, really simple. Actually, the framework is really simple to follow. Again, it may not necessarily be apparent on all the platforms that I'm on, and if you happen to be listening and watching this on a platform that seems low in engagement, it's okay. It's totally okay. Part of it also too is that these things are growing, and I haven't really been doing this for that long a time. I really haven't. I mean, the consistent daily publishing with YouTube and with this podcast only started September 1st, right? Yes, my YouTube channel has been open since 2008, but I haven't been consistent enough with it to really get the traction that I know I can get and will get, a year, 2 years, 3 years down the road with consistently publishing, right? Yes, again, it's been since 2008 since I've created content for this channel. However, it's been so on and off that I haven't been able to build that traction. Moreover, one of the other main purposes for me continually putting content out and sharing this stuff with the world is that it's an educative process for me. It's a learning process. As much as it is marketing for my business, it's also education for me. And I think that to me is more important because regardless of the immediate results that I'm getting, I'm learning every step of the way. And in fact, with YouTube and with this podcast, outside of my short form, outside of TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, with YouTube and with this podcast in particular, I'm developing my skills, right? We talked about the developmental goals in yesterday's episode. I'm developing my skills around SEO and creating, better descriptions so that it's more SEO friendly. And so, I've actually, since I've started really paying more attention to that, I've started seeing an uptick in both of these platforms, my podcast and YouTube. So it's a work in progress, and that's really what I love. And again, it's the difference between a destination goal and a developmental goal. I do have destination goal, of course. I want profitability, and I want to be able to monetize this stuff, and I want this marketing to work. However, part of it is also having developmental goals and the growth process that this actually needs to be for me in order to achieve those things, right? I need to grow my marketing acumen. I need to grow my my SEO skills. I need to be able to conceptualize and then put into place, the entire marketing funnel that I want to create, right? And also too, being on all these platforms, I only have so much bandwidth to learn at one given moment, right? And so it took me a little while to really start stepping into the SEO space and really being more intentional and mindful with the descriptions that I write for these videos and for the podcast. Next step will be, I think, I mean, it's unavoidable, the AI and ChatGPT as a tool to help me with exactly what I'm talking about, right? The SEO and things like that. So it's an ongoing process, right? And that's the great thing about developmental goals and understanding, like really leaning into that regardless of the immediate results and the destination goals that I've set for myself, those are just mile markers and points in my journey where I can look at the current results that I've achieved so that I can then adjust what I need to develop moving into the future so that I can create better results, right? It's a process. It's a process and it's all about becoming as you go. And again, that really allows me to enjoy the here and now in doing this, despite the lack of metrics, despite the lack of engagement, despite the perceived lack of results, right? Hopefully that makes sense. And hopefully I answered the question. But yeah, just keep tuning in, right? Like if for nothing else, you get to watch me develop and become something completely different. I would wager to say that after a year of podcasting, I'm going to be a completely different person. I mean, I was a completely different person when I reached 100, which was the original goal. And now I'm at like 255, I think, or 254 this episode. So yeah, I mean, I can't wait till I hit that 1 year anniversary. And then of course, beyond that, right? So it's going to grow. You just have to, you can't see it in real time. But a year from now, it's going to be something completely different, and it's going to be absolutely bonkers, I think. So that's my message. That's the lesson for today. The end game is there's not really an end game. Yes, there is a destination goal. There's always destination goals, but there's also always developmental goals, and it's a process of becoming rather than hitting an end destination. All right, so that's the message for today. Thanks for tuning in. More from me tomorrow. So until then, be well, be safe. We'll see you in the next episode.